it's $180. I didn't like that one as much. Let's get a cheaper one.
Imagine everyone listening, go bid on that. Go bid on that right now.
I'm telling you, it really is my favorite cologne.
Because some people will feel like you don't deserve to be in that room. Some people will immediately stop looking at you as an equal. And I don't think that it's because of the fact that you're not worth it or you're not worthy. I think it's just a lot of people are always trying to measure. Is that you who smells like a fucking dessert? And he's like, yes. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the 1% Podcast. I'm your host, Vin, and
I'm Shane.
Shane is showing off his colognes for whatever reason. We didn't even get to what topics we're talking about today, and this man is jiggling his
I wonder what we're
colognes.
talking about today, Ben. What are we talking about?
Oh, I don't know, Shane. I was thinking about talking about something more business related, but here you are with your cologne.
Oh, is that right?
I think I peeped the look. Is it because it's a Rolex cologne? You wanted to show everybody that?
Oh boy, you had to start it off, didn't you? So our fun topic today is what colognes do we wear? And what smells good? Why do we wear them? What do we support? And then we have a nice fun topic for you. You know, do people fake it to make it? Fake it while they make it. Or
Fake it till they make it.
Fake it till they make it.
What about making it till you fake it?
I'm intrigued on more on that one too. Or do you play it the honest route? So Vin and I are going to tell you two sides to this, which we're very excited to talk about. But first, Vin already ruined it. The cologne, what do we support? And I feel like as you grow up, these change, of course, all the time, right? I used to wear and rock Axe body spray.
Who didn't? Who didn't, man?
Right.
You carry the spray bottle
that was
because
so cool.
everywhere you go,
yeah, that was the cool thing to do. And then, like, when you grow up and you get a little bit, older, and then you realize how bad it smells, and more importantly, how much people spray on. Like, it's just overly abundant, just not necessary.
What was the next one? For me, it was like Hollister and then Armani Exchange.
See, I think I was Axe body spray, and then I think I went into Old Spice. I think
Old Spice. Oh,
yeah,
man.
you're not familiar with Old Spice?
No, I'm familiar, but it's for like 70-year-old men.
Yeah, I went through a phase then. And then I think it was just random colognes, nothing that, was memorable until I became, a certified entrepreneur and started like, okay, I want to smell good.
Yeah, because that's how it usually goes. It's like, well, I've built a business. Now what do people think of how I smell?
I just mean when you're a teenager, you put the Axe body spray, it was just the thing to do. Like, it was usually like after gym or PE or whatever it was, some sort of sports practice. Shh, 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 right? You know the sound. Yes. And that was just it. Like, that was my cologne, my eau de France, my eau de toilette.
It definitely smelled like the toilet, I'll tell you what. But it's funny because as you get older, then the things shift, right? So like high school was Hollister and Armani, and then I think after that it was actually. So I used to collect colognes. I used to I used to like go into like these cologne trade rooms and stuff, and it was pretty interesting. But
I didn't even know that thing existed.
Yeah, no, there's like fragrance swap rooms and all this stuff, and some colognes are worth a lot, especially because like they have old formulas that you can't get anymore and things like that. Like the cologne I'm gonna show, this bottle of Creed here, Aventus, this is the old formula. The old formula sells for a lot more because they don't make it this way anymore, and a lot of people don't exactly love the new formula. So I could go in and probably swap that, even though it's used because it's barely used. I could still probably get a good amount of money for it if I wanted to.
I didn't even know that stuff existed. I went to Macy's where I'd have the women at Macy's like spray cologne in my face, and you're like, you like that one? And after like 4 or 5, you have no idea what you smell like because you have like 5 different colognes on you. So you just pick a random one that they suggest, and then it's like, oh, it's $180. I didn't like that one as much. Let's get a cheaper one.
I would go.
That was my cologne experience days.
So, well, now you've stepped up your game because now you're about to tell the world about something that I didn't even know existed. So, Shane, why don't you go ahead and tell the people what you got there? Show them your watch.
Well, there's no watch on, but I would say that your authorized dealer, AD as it's referenced to, gives you gifts, and Rolex Cologne is it smells really good. It really does, and I'm shockingly to say, just because it's so rare and unique, it really does smell amazing. Fun fact about Rolex Cologne that I was telling Vin is that you can't buy them in stores. It's not offered. It's not something that you can purchase anywhere unless it's from somebody that has it, that was given to them by a gift from their authorized dealer. And what I mean by as a gift is they couldn't sell them in Rolex stores. These gifts were just that. They were gifted to people that bought Rolexes, just to show appreciation. So everything that you see as far as Rolex like swag, they can't be sold, which is pretty cool. Another fun fact for Rolexes, if you're buying from an authorized dealer, there is no upsell, which is crazy to me. So Rolex releases a certain amount of watches, and I'm not going to talk about this too much because it's not the topic, but they release a certain amount of watches for certain stores, and then that's it, and this is the price. So there's no upsell on it. So obviously, the AD gets it for a little bit lower, but they tell them this is the price. You can't upsell it. So it's pretty cool. Everything's very direct. It's very limited. And I got this Rolex from one of my AD, and then I actually bought another one on eBay. And I was just telling Vin, I was looking it up. There's only one on eBay right now, and it's
Hurry up, people.
$349, and 18 people have viewed it in the last 24 hours.
Imagine, everyone listening, go bid on that. Go bid on that right now.
I'm telling you, it really is my favorite cologne. And I don't know if you're familiar with light blue, but from Versace, great smell. I don't think it lasts very long. I don't spray excessive amount. I usually just spray a couple, on each side of my neck, and then I'll get my palms and I'll get my shirt a little bit. I'm about like a 2.5 sprayer, but I just don't think it lasts very long. The Rolex one lasts for a good, 4 or 5 hours, which is what you want a cologne for.
Mm, mm. You hear that, peasants? Nobody could get the roll.
Oh, gosh. Yeah, I told you. This is not to be sounded as pretentious. It's just something that I was gifted, that I love the smell, that I bought another one. I found it on eBay. Vin's making a big deal about it.
I think it's very cool. I didn't even know that they made colognes. That's why I wanted us to talk about colognes, actually, just because I thought that was pretty interesting. If you guys, listeners, if you guys didn't know that there was a Rolex cologne, let us know. Or if you did, actually, let us know. I'm curious to see how you knew, because I'm going to be 33 in a month, and in 33 years, I've never heard of a Rolex cologne, so I think that's pretty cool. But again, I'm also one of the common folk and peasants, just like all of you. So Shane would know more than us, because he's clearly a king.
So let's talk about your colognes, Vin.
Well. The common folk gets the opportunity now. So,
well, you were part of like a cologne smelling special society.
And I didn't even know about it, because all of us were broke apparently. But here's my two favorites. I actually found this one a long time ago. This is the original formula of Aventus by Creed. And this was years ago. I bought like 2 bottles of it. I gifted one to my dad, and at the time they were like 200 and something. And I gifted him one, but he never used it because he said it was too strong and he didn't like it. So eventually, when my bottle ran out, I took his, which is great because they don't make this formula anymore. So this one is actually, man, I think I've had this since I was like early or mid 20s. And I mean, I had this thing when I was single. So this was great. I used to go out, people would stop and smell me. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, I remember one time I was at the bar and a few girls were like just walking past me, but not at the same time, like individually. And then I actually like looked over my shoulder at one point because I kind of caught one of them, and I'm just like, what are you doing? And she's like, okay, listen. She's like, this is going to sound really weird. My friend walked by you to get a drink, and she told all of us we have to come over here to smell you. And so we've kind of been doing it. Don't be weirded out. I'm like, I'm very flattered. Thank you very much. I am a little weirded out, but you may proceed. So I don't know what the hell is in here, man.
That's a commercial right there. I don't know. Creed needs to like listen to this and like get a new commercial
Can we
idea.
get sponsored by Creed? Creed, if you're
Yeah,
listening, sponsor me, man.
right.
I have so many of your things. And then this new one,
That's a
Silver
perfect
Mountain
commercial.
Water. This is my everyday one. This is my favorite. It's very, man, I don't even know. It's just sweet. It's clean. It's a beautiful scent. I smelled it because it stank up the entire gym. The gym owner was wearing it, and every time I'd walk in, I just keep smelling this heavenly scent from the gods. And I'm like, what is that nectar? And so as I walk around, I like can't figure out. And then one day I'm kind of standing next to him as we're lifting weights, and I just take out my headphone. His name's Sean. I'm like, Sean, is that you who smells like a fucking dessert? And he's like, yes. I was like, what do you got? So that's how I found out about this one. But also, Creed, it's called Silver Mountain Water. So
It's a
the
dessert
entire
that
gym
smells
stinks.
sweet.
Oh, it's a very clean smell. It's like you just did your laundry and you're super excited to wear the clothes because they smell phenomenal. That's how I would describe this. It's like
Hmm,
so freaking fresh. It's
interesting.
a very refreshing scent. This one is a lot more musky and heavy. Like this is like you walk in and you're gonna command some attention. But this one is like very refreshing.
Mm.
So these are my two favorite colognes.
Hmm. Well, there you have it. I haven't worn any cologne today, so I guess might as well get a little half squirt, half squirt. Oh yeah, now we're in the zone here. Did you get your cologne in for the day?
No, no, I'm good.
All
I
right,
don't
so
want
now we're
to.
talking about fake it till you make it, and this
Mm,
is a very, I think it's like a touchy subject for a lot of people. If
yeah,
you're an entrepreneur specifically, you'll know a lot of people that essentially fake it till they make it, and I think that's a big common quote. I'm actually going to let Vin go first because he's got a very positive spin onto this. And to be honest, I want to hear the Ed Milet story again too, because I think you could kind of tell both sides of it as well, because he openly talks about it, right?
yeah, yeah.
So we'll let Vin go first here.
Sure. Well, so I'm not a fan of fake it till you make it. I never have been. I also, actually, funny enough, even from a psychology standpoint, I talk to some of my clients about this who might be struggling with imposter syndrome or confidence issues. And sometimes at the root of it is like that mentality, right? Of fake it till you make it. And it's interesting because we don't realize that, but it becomes like this subconscious belief that you're not really worthy of what you're doing because of the fact that you already know in the deepest parts of yourself you're not there and you're lying. And so that could actually have a really deep psychological impact just based on that alone. So I always tell people is like, one, get rid of fake it till you make it. Don't allow that to be a mantra. If anything, I teach people how to build themselves in alignment and teach them to believe it until they become it. So I've never been a fan of fake it till you make it. I've never liked it. I've always had problems with it, but I also have seen a lot of downside of being genuine and honest, and I'm happy to share a lot of that with you today. And I don't tell people not to be genuine and honest. I've just learned the game a little differently because now I'm still genuine and honest. I'm just more reserved in the ways that I have conversation. Like now there's actually some tact in there where I never lie to people. I'm just more of a generalist unless otherwise specified for a specific reason. And for some of those reasons, for instance, would be like I was at an event. I'm in the same room as these people. We were invited. I was invited. Like I didn't even pay to be there, and I knew that people paid to be there. And it's funny because I was talking about how I hadn't been on my speaking journey for very long to some of the guys who were already professional speakers doing it for a bit. And I was just asking them, I'm like, what are a few of the tips that really help skyrocket your speaking career? I've been doing it for since about 2021. And mind you, actually, funny enough, this conversation took place late in 2023. So I've been speaking for about 2 to 3 years now. And so I meet these guys who are pretty established. I'm like, so what have been some of your tips? And they're like, yeah, I've done this, this, this. I'm like, that's cool, man. I was like, and where do you find X, Y, and Z or whatever? Just, casual conversation, picking their brain a bit. And they're like, yeah, yeah, yeah. How long you been speaking? I'm like, oh, about 2 years. They're like, oh, cool. They're like, well, you're trying to get bigger. I'm like, yeah, a little bit. I'm at this place right now where I would love a few more speaking engagements. Great, great. Well, listen here, I have this course available. You should totally take this, or maybe we could do some one-to-one. I'm like, dude, we're in the same room and I was invited here. Like, I don't know if you paid, but I didn't. So to me, we're equal status. Just because you're somewhere further along and wherever the heck you're at in your speaking career doesn't mean we're not equal. But it's interesting because people will measure where you are to see if you're equal or not. Like people only want to see you doing better than them or exactly the same, or else you're in a lower status. And I've come to notice that from being in a lot of these rooms. Because if I was speaking, and making more than him, or I had better connections, I guarantee he'd ask me to personally connect instead of giving me his assistant to connect with and telling me to buy his course, which is exactly what happened, despite being in the exact same room.
Hmm.
And so I find that to be really, really funny. But I've never wanted to pretend to be someone I'm not. I've never wanted to have the stress of keeping up with a lie or a persona or an appearance. Shane was referring to the story that Ed Milet talks about, and I'm probably butchering it a little bit too. So hopefully he doesn't sue me or anything like that. But he talks a lot about how I think he was saying how he had like a body kit on a car because it was a crappy car, but he wanted it to look fancier than it was for when he would pull up in meetings, and he would wear like a nice suit and have this beater that just looked like a really nice car, but it wasn't. And he was talking about how he would build the appearance of what he wanted to bring into his life through having this kind of fake it till you make it mentality. For me, I've always liked being more of that transparent of like, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm doing. And I know that it's probably slowed me down in life. I know that there are probably people who haven't worked with me as a coach, or they haven't done X with me because of the fact that I haven't done or achieved X or talked higher about myself or whatever. But I would say on the flip side of that, I think that the relationships that I build are extremely genuine. I think that I don't have much fear because I know that everything I've always talked about is always just what it is. Like you can't you can't have a conversation with me a year in the in the past and then have a conversation a year in the future and it be different, because I'm always talking about the same things. Like everything's always just the way it is. It's always very matter of fact. And so I think it's helped me with building relationships, having trustworthy or have trust built into my clients. And then as I continue to build on my story, it's also taught me a lot and given me a lot of great experiences. So I think that there's something to be said about maybe not lying, maybe not faking it, but not being completely transparent with people. Because if there is a piece of advice that I give to people nowadays, it is that aspect of understand how transparent you could or should be based on the rooms that you're in. Because some people will feel like you don't deserve to be in that room. Some people will immediately stop looking at you as an equal. And I don't think that it's because of the fact that you're not worth it or you're not worthy. I think it's just a lot of people are always trying to measure, and being aware of that will help you get a little further in your career or your life if you understand that people are looking to measure. And you don't have to lie. You just don't have to say everything. We call it omission. And so those are some of my suggestions, or that's a part of how I lived. And obviously, if there's more for me to go into, I can. But we'll turn it over to Shane and hear a little bit on his thoughts and his ideology, because I'm just talking.
I mean, I like everything that you just said. Like pretty much every single word that you just said. Genuine relationships, measurement. I actually see myself doing everything that you said. When I go to dinners, and I talked about this in the other one, I see this as a business. You want to talk to every single person in that room. So at this point, you're measuring that person to see if they can either be a benefit to you or a benefit to your business.
Hmm.
And if they're just starting out, if they're not on the same level, if you don't get the same sense that they can be a benefit to you or your business, then I got to move on. That's how I feel. However, I've been on that other side of the spectrum. I've started businesses from scratch, and I believe in the motto of, and it sounds terrible, especially after Vin got to talk first, but fake it till you make it. For to a degree, and that's what I want to talk about today. So, when you're first starting out, and I always recommend doing the services for free. So you actually have a proof of concept, right? You always hear me say that. It's a piece of advice that I commonly say to people in the beginning. Do it for free, have a proof of concept, ask for testimonials, ask for reviews. If things went wrong, great. That's what you want. You need to learn what you're doing before you can ask somebody to pay you, especially pay you good money to do it. Now, once you've had proof of concept, once you've had a couple of clients under your belt, I personally don't see anything wrong with exaggerating your numbers of clients or things like that to attain more clients. Because the last thing that you want to hear, and let's be realistic, I know it sounds terrible on paper, but let's be realistic. If you and I were at a face to face meeting and I told you that, hey, I just started out 3 months ago, 6 months ago, a year ago, I'd done this for a couple of clients for free and it worked out great. How are you going to get out of that funk? So I think if you have proof of concept and saying, hey, I've been doing this for quite some time now, this is kind of where the omission comes in. Doing this for quite some time now. I've worked with some clients that are in the exact same field that you're doing. These are some of the results that I got them. You're going to get the same results. Let's get you signed up. This is what it costs. That I think is a totally great transition for essentially faking it till you're making it, right? You're
Mm.
not really just saying anything wrong. You're just going for the actual kill and having them pay for it.
You, you know what else you could say, which also comes to mind too? If you don't have a lot of clients and you don't want to make it seem like you have a lot or whatever the case is, but you also don't want people to think you're inexperienced, you could say something along the lines of like, hey, I only have a capacity for a small amount of clients because I like to be really high touch with my service. I like to make sure that there is another level of support that I could give. And I can only do that if I really curate just a few select people. So I really only take on like 5 to 10 clients at a time. Currently, I have about 2 to 3 spaces open. If that's something you might be interested in, I would love to have that conversation. And so you're not really lying, in my opinion. You're not really lying, but you're making the fact that you don't have a lot of clients sound really, really good.
To a degree. And that's what I want to put like, and now that's what I recommended for my marketing agency. Now for my VA company where we have hundreds of clients and hundreds of employees, if I said that, it would make it seem like I can't handle more.
Sure.
Like it says that yes, I'm hyper focused on these five, but as a business owner and entrepreneur, you need to learn to evolve and grow and learn how to handle more than five and more than 10.
I
Because
agree.
that's all fine and dandy on paper. But if I'm any sort of successful, my first thought was something like that is, okay, it's five, you're only paying attention to me, but that's weird. Why would it only be five? Because if
You
I'm a
know,
business owner, why wouldn't I want to say 25? And I can
sure.
hyper focus on these 25 by
Well,
delegation.
that's not a bad thought. I think part of this too also comes down to industry. Like one of the big
Absolutely.
goals that I have for my future is very along the lines of like what Tony Robbins has created. So for those of you that don't know, Tony Robbins charges $1 million a year and you have to commit to 1 year of coaching with him. You can't do 3 months or 6 months. You have to do it for the full year. It's at $1 million. And he only sees, I don't remember the number. I want to say it's like 4 clients per year, and he has a wait list of like, I don't know, like 8 years or something right now.
That's nuts.
And so, I mean, well, think about it. He only sees 4 per year. But here's the caveat. From what I've come to learn, and I don't 100% know if this is true because I haven't fully verified it, but from what I've come to learn, when you're committed for that year, it's really the matter of what do you need to get your results. Like I've heard he's met with a client like every single day while they were coaching for months because that's what they needed to get him to a specific place in his life and his business. And so for me, one of the things I'd actually love to do is that have maybe like 5 clients, charge them 100,000 a year or something along that, really prove that concept, then eventually scale that price up. But have a small one-to-one clientele is eventually my end goal, and just do it in that format. Like, hey, I'm going to be super high touch with you. There's no specific amount of times we meet. We're just going to get this done, whether it's we meet every day, once a day, or once a week, or whatever the case is. But the goal is we're going to get the result. It's going to be this price. You're committed to this time. And I'm only going to see 3 or 4 of you so that I could really help you guys dial that in. And I think that's a really awesome offer. That's what I want to move into personally because I do love coaching, but I don't want to coach 40 people one to one. I just don't. That sounds awful. That's why I stopped being a psychotherapist because I was doing 30 plus clients per week. And I was like, this sucks. And it does. It's not fun. But if you could really just be super high touch with people, I think for at least for me, that's a lot of fun. So that's the model I'm going to move into in the future when my demand is up here. But for now, I mean, I think Shane brings up a great point. Is like, for me, what I'm doing is I'm just continuing to prove my concept, continuing to get more clients, continuing to help people get different results of different types as I learn how to grow the back end of my business, my CRMs, my ads, my process, my systems, all this stuff. And so I think for any of you guys listening, or girls, whoever's there, I think it's important that you guys also recognize like your industry, what works in your industry, what's great for your industry, where are you at, where do you want to be at, and most importantly, how are people perceiving you? Like, I know we always say a lot, it doesn't matter how people perceive you, but in business, it actually does. Like, maybe in your personal life, it doesn't, but in business, it really does, because your business has a reputation. And so how do you build that, or how do you support that, right? Do you believe it until you become it? Do you fake it till you make it? Do you embellish? Do you generalize? Do you make things sound a specific way so that they sound better than they are, worse than whatever you want? I don't know, but I think that's always the nuance, right? It's like figuring out your industry and how you're supposed to present.
Yeah, I would definitely agree on the industry specifics. I still think if you're starting out, rephrasing things, not necessarily lying to your clients, but rephrasing things is probably the best piece of advice that, Vin and I can give you. And more importantly, when you go to these business events and dinners, let the other people do all the talking. You take it in and you select the information that you want to give. Be the quiet one, be
Mm.
reserved, right? Ask other people, because that's what, honestly, and it's crazy to say this, but other people love talking about themselves. So if you really want to get good at this and you really want to get new clients, whatever industry you're in, ask more questions.
I can't find it, but I was looking for one of my books because it's not that crazy. Because I don't know where it is. All right, it's not crazy. People love talking about themselves. It's one of the biggest things that they talk about in How to Win Friends and Influence People, the book by Dale Carnegie. It's an iconic classic, and one of the biggest things is understanding people's favorite topics are themselves, their business, their family, their friends, how cool they are, what they've done in their life, their stories, their past. If you keep the conversation on people, they'll just like you. Like, think about, for all of you listening, think about times when you've gone out and you've had some of the most amazing conversation that you've ever had, or you met somebody and you're like, wow, I would love to hang out with them more. If you really think about it, you probably talked about yourself most of the time. You probably did. You probably just sat there and wouldn't shut up, and they were super interested in you, and they made you feel like $1,000,000 because they didn't care to say anything about themselves. And you know what's funny? You'll also notice that in networking, because the people who have the most to prove, that probably have the least, that probably are faking it till they make it, are probably sitting there telling you how awesome their business, their life, their accomplishments, their achievements, their Rolexes are. They're telling you all these crazy things.
First off,
I wanted to see if he
be
was paying
targeted.
attention.
Yeah,
Sometimes I wonder.
be targeted. I don't talk about myself like
It's
that to
true.
that degree.
It's
So
true.
take it back. Less than targeted. Thanks, Ben. So yeah,
I
I think this was a good talking point for today. If you're really going to take in anything from this, it's become more involved with colognes, so you can smell like Creed, and eventually work your way up to exclusive ones that they don't offer in the stores, I guess. And more importantly, if you are going to quote unquote fake it till you make it, you don't necessarily have to lie. You don't have to fib. You just need to rework your verbiage to clients, which I think that, Vin and I clearly demonstrated on things. I really like the aspect of, believing in yourself and believing, where you are now and where you want to be. I think that's the most crucial thing, is really just believing in yourself, especially as an entrepreneur. And there's going to be so many times, and Ben, I know Ben can contest to this. There's going to be so many times where God or where yourself, you're put to this test of, am I really this person? Am I
yeah.
really going to get to this? Or am I this? And it's going to beat at you. But keep believing it, keep verbalizing it out loud to the world, to yourself, so you hear it, You can do anything.
You know? Wait, don't end it. Hold on. Because I think there's something that also needs to be said. And this is a little bit of a personal experience. There have been so many times where I felt crappy in my life because I know how capable I am, but other people don't see it because I don't have the status, I don't have the car, I don't have the watch, I don't have the clothes, whatever the hell it is. And you're going to experience that, whoever you are out there, whether you're an entrepreneur or 9 to 5er or somebody in between or whoever you are, especially if you're trying to become an entrepreneur, because that's always the starting phase. There is so many things that I'm capable of. Like I've literally had people, and it's very funny. I am literally a licensed psychotherapist. Like I went to school for it and everything. And there were people that I was helping and supporting who have turned around and said, you know, Vin, I'm going to go find a therapist. I'm like, you realize I am a therapist. And they're like, yeah, but like, I'm going to go find a therapist. I'm like, do you see the pieces of paper? They're here. This is what I do too. And it's interesting because people will doubt you. People will doubt you all the time. People will doubt your capabilities before they even know. I've had moments, for instance, when I was 23 and I became a psychotherapist. And this was actually kind of funny, is I had some guy come in. I did his intake. I showed him the path forward, basically built like, these are your goals. This is what you got to work on. This is what you're struggling with. This is your diagnosis. This is how we can help you. This is what the treatment plan looks like. I outlined everything for him in our first session. And then the next week that I came back and I walked into the clinic, I saw the guy was off my schedule. I was like, hey, what happened to that client? Like, oh, he didn't want to work with you. I'm like, why? And then the guy was like, oh, well, you're too young. He said you wouldn't be able to teach him anything. To which I said, really? I'm the one in the chair. He's the one on the couch. And so people always find a reason to doubt you. People always find a reason to tell you you're not good enough, even if they don't know how capable you are. So to anyone who might be struggling a little bit with, I don't know, just feeling like things are really hard or feeling like you know what you have, but it sucks because nobody recognizes it, just trust, like eventually people will. Eventually people will. You know, I've gotten a lot of opportunities in my life because some people have. Some people took a chance on me. Some people gave me an opportunity when nobody else would. Hell, the only reason I was able to fully quit the fire department is because one woman invested in my business coaching when I just started out and I didn't even know what I was doing really. But she wound up having 2 people enrolled and she was like 3/4 of my income at the time. And she didn't know that, but you know, she took a shot. I told her, hey, I'm transitioning out of the fire department. This is what I'm going to do full time. I have a few clients right now, which was true. I had like 6 clients. So I have a few clients right now, you know, like this is what I do. And she's like, oh, I could use that. I'm like, great. And you'll find that. So to anyone who wants to give up, please don't, especially if you know you have something that this world needs. And it's going to be a little bit hard, but you're a little tougher. So good luck on that.
And if you do need more help, reach out in the comments, slide into Vin's DMs, leave a reply, give us a thumbs up. But regardless, we're here to help if you need it. All right. I think that's it. I smell too good to be stuck in this room. I'm going to go out and share the world.
I'm going to go smell them.
All right, guys. We're out of here. Thanks so much for stopping by. I'm going to switch it. I'm the co-host, Shane.
And I'm Vin, and you have to like, subscribe, share, and comment because Shane never mentions that when he closes these out.
That's why you're good to close right there. All right, guys. We're out of here. See ya.